All right, folks. Welcome to Hot Mics. It's your host, co-host actually, Ian, with my man.
Ladies and gentlemen. Sorry.
with my man Ant.
What's up? All
Uh,
right, all right, all right, all right, all
Suave.
right. Suavemente, bésame.
All right, so today, we're gonna got a little video that we're gonna watch from the Ramsey show. One of the personalities from the Ramsey show, Rachel Cruz, talking about buying cars, right? And what she's talking about. Well, we're gonna watch the video, have a little dialogue about it, and invite you guys to comment on it. Give us some comment on it, give some feedback on it, let us know what you think about it. So, full screen.
Lot about why you shouldn't have your identity wrapped up in the car that you drive because transportation is a basic need, right? We all know that. But when it comes to optics and ego, it's just not that serious. And 90% of the time, you and maybe a few members of your immediate family are the only people who really even see your car. So why throw away hundreds of dollars every month on a giant car payment? So I will always recommend paying cash for your vehicle, which for most people means buying a reliable used car until you reach a certain place financially.
So I want to pause it right there, real quick. Talking about buying a car cash. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about real quick. Let me go back go back to us, man, and really, one of the things I want to hit on is buying a car cash, right? So the nerd in me, the financial person that I am, would say that when it's time to buy a car, it should be a cash purchase, right? However, in the
Correct.
realist in me, looking at today's market when it comes to cars and what's going on in the car market, where um, prices of used car are fairly close to what you can buy new, and there's a lot of incentives to financing a car when you're buying a car from a dealership. So the realist in me says, is this really feasible? Can this really happen that you not finance a car? So what you think about
So I think there's different seasons,
that?
right? So interest is a luxury, right? A lease is a luxury, right? So if we're talking about personal vehicle, if you can afford the luxury of buying a new car, sometimes the luxury of buying a new car is a better value than the luxury of a used car. Sometimes it is, right? And then it depends. It depends on what your wants are, right? So there's a season that we are on needs. There's another season that we're on wants.
Right.
So, as a pure value standpoint, she's right. Hey, go purchase cash because the cost of borrowing money, right, usually doesn't make sense, especially when it starts at 5 and 7 and 10%. But if you're qualifying for those 0% or 1.4, 1.99, if you're getting those subprime rates, then buying a car on credit actually makes
Right.
sense,
Right.
right? If you have business write-offs, if you can write off your entire lease, or you get that heavy vehicle exemption, then that
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
You know, if you need a vehicle for work, so you need a new vehicle, you need a newer vehicle, then it makes sense. But if you're just not in that season, right, you have to do what makes sense. I don't think there's a cookie cutter answer.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. There's no cookie cut answer. I mean, like I said, the financial person that I am, buy it cash, right? So this way you don't have a car payment. Hey, I didn't have a car payment for years, right? And the freedom and flexibility that it has on because now you have that. Let's say something does happen and you do need to buy a car. You got that space where you can go buy a car, right? You don't have that drag on your credit score or your credit, that you have to worry about a car. So yeah, I mean, if you can buy a car cash, buy a car cash. Now, I just recently went car shopping, and I could tell you that, I was looking for basic car, Honda Accord, right? And I seen a Honda Accord that was I think it was 3.5 years old, right? 3.5 year old Honda Accord. It was almost 4 years old Honda Accord. That was about I think it was like 22,000 or 23,000, somewhere like that, right? Um, and it was the lowest trim model, like the LX, I believe it was, where I could have bought a new Honda Accord for, you know, but this is me talking, so I'm gonna beat down the salesman. I'm gonna get every incentive that I can get. Um, 29, 30, high 29, 30,000 dollars, right? So you're looking at, so wait a minute, that car was around 20. What did I say? It was 23 or 24.
20,
Yeah, it
23,
was around.
24. You said
So
something
you're
like
looking
that.
at like a $6,000 difference, right? Basically, a $6,000 difference in car, between a almost 4 year old car versus a brand new car, right? Then comes the discounts, right? So if you finance a car, they give you, usually they give you some kind of discount, right? Um, and if you buy cash, obviously you won't get that discount, which to me sounds a little backwards, but it is what it is, right? So, should you buy a car, finance it, and if you have the means, just pay it off immediately, so you're not worried about interest, or should you just go out there and finance a quality car that you're going to have for quite some time? You don't have to worry about warranties or nothing like that. For quite some time. Like you said, it depends, right?
So yeah, and that brings me to another point. If you're in a position where you're debating whether you should finance it or whether you should pay cash, and you're worried about the $1,000, $2,000 difference, you want to get every last nickel you
Mm-hmm.
can. Um, the best time to go car shopping is at the end of the month. Excuse me. They have their quotas they need to go meet. So you show up on the 29th, you show up on the 30th. Hey, look, this is what I have. If you can make this work, matter of fact, you don't even have to show up,
Yeah.
right? You can call every single Honda dealership, within a 100-mile radius. Da 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 da. This is my situation. Look, I'm just gonna keep on calling them. Every dealership is their own
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem. So your hometown dealership is it's usually not owned by the guy that has a Honda dealership 10 miles down the road or 30
True.
miles down the road.
True.
So they're operating and running things differently. So then you start building relationships with the salesmen. Um, you know, you start buying cars sight unseen.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I did, I went to several different dealerships and checked out different cars and stuff. And, listen, I had a criteria. Hey, this is what I want. Specific color range. I'm not like tied to a color, but a color range. And, this is a specific trim. And, basically, you have them fight against one another.
That's right.
That's what
That's
I
right.
tell people to do. But the real the real thing here is that one of the things I really wanted to hit in this was that what I saw in the used car market. So this is the first time I bought a car post pandemic. And what I saw in the used car market, I've heard of stories, seen a lot of stories, never really experienced it until this go round. Used cars are ridiculous. The days, I remember I'm going back to maybe like 2016, 2017. I bought a car from a coworker, Toyota Camry. At the time, it was like 15, 16 years old, solid car, paid $800 for it. Solid car. I did a few cosmetic things, fixed it up, sold it. Used it for a while, then I wind up selling it. But those days are gone. $800, man. You can't even get a bicycle. You know what I mean? Like I looked at different ranges of cars, and like the $4,000 or $5,000 range. Very, you're gonna get a car that has 200,000 miles on it. Especially if you're looking for a reputable brand. If you're looking, me, I was looking for either Toyota or Honda. You're looking for a reputable brand. Yeah, you're gonna get something with a lot of miles on it. So I beg the question: can people buy cars cash nowadays? Is really the question.
Well, if I don't know if you've been following the housing market, but in the last couple of months, I mean, it has taken a sharp downturn.
It depends where
So
you at.
$10,000 cars.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, in my neighborhood down here in Florida, I've been watching, the vehicles go down. There's a whole lot of $4,000 and $5,000 cars again, whereas you couldn't find the entry into the market. Just the end of last year was $10,000 was the entry. So, more like 15, 10 to 15. So, those prices with high interest rates, people can't afford to finance. I mean, prime rate, prime and subprime rates are 10% now.
Mm.
That's, it's ridiculous. I mean, again, I pulled that number straight out of my rear end, but just what I'm noticing is just interest rates are just, it's just total. They're just totally, everything is
Yeah.
jacked, right? Everything's jacked. So,
Well, I mean, we definitely need a correction in all, in my opinion, all facets of the economy. But yeah, like I said, I was shocked, man. I had bought a car. We bought a car October of 2019. Um, we bought a Honda Genesis, as a matter of fact. Well, yeah, well, it was, yeah, that model was Genesis at that time. So it's no longer under Hyundai, but Hyundai, it was a Hyundai Genesis. And yeah, I mean, got a good deal, bought the car, no issues. And then, like I said, this go around, I was just like, whoa, like, what I paid for a car, just before the pandemic, I think we paid $20,000 for that car. That was a three-year-old car, low miles, um, luxury car. It's supposed to be a luxury car, very nice car. And then, boom, I can't even get a 3-year-old Honda Accord for less than 20 grand.
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
which is crazy. But so like I said, man, can you buy cars nowadays? Um, Cash. I mean, you said in your market there is. What I'm finding in my market is that there are vehicles available, $5 to $10,000, but they're gonna have a lot of miles on it, and sometimes they're not the best model or brand of vehicle to buy. So um, if you have to finance a car, and this is one of those things, if you have to finance a car, just be very careful. Look for, like you said, maybe shop towards the end of the month, towards the end of the year. When model years are changing out, you could probably buy, let's say July, August, you can get, right now we're in 2024, so you could get a 2024 when the 2025s are coming out at a decent price. I mean, you could really work the salesman on that because they got new models coming out, they got new inventory coming out. They got to get rid of the old inventory, so you could get a few $1,000s off of the last year's model, which is brand new, and it's actually still this year's model per se, but it's brand new. You can still get all the warranties, features, guarantees. You get the most car dealers, most car brands are giving you 2 years of maintenance. When you buy a brand new vehicle, so you can still get those type of things if you do buy a brand new vehicle. Also, there's a lot of if your credit is good, there's a lot of good financing opportunities when you buy a brand new vehicle. Um, I was offered rates as low as 1.9%. For brand new, which is awesome because hey, listen, if you're paying 1.9% on a car and your money is making 5.9%, you know, maybe you should finance versus paying cash. Who knows?
No, absolutely, absolutely. Those are great points. Yeah, and there's different, yeah, I mean, you hit on so many points. There's different quality of used car. You can't just lump them all as the same, right? You got a 1-year-old car, 3-year-old car versus a 10-year-old car, right? Those are different levels of
Right,
used car.
right.
So, ultimately, families should have a budget, right? You should, and if you're going to take on a note, you need to be prepared for that
Right,
note, along with the full coverage
right.
insurance, right? It depends on what season you're in. If you can afford that, you can afford a note, you can afford full coverage insurance, right? Those are great things to have.
Right.
You should. Excuse me, but if that's not your season, you have to work within your budget.
Right.
So, I agree with her in the aspect that don't feel compelled to keep up with your
Right.
neighbors, right? Because a lot of times those neighbors, they're broke, right? They're
See,
they're they're spending all they have, and yeah, they're over leveraged, right? And that note is
yeah,
killing them. So yeah, so yep, no, just do what you can afford. But you're right that 1.9%. I mean, that's
yeah,
tremendous. You get those zero zeros and those one
yeah.
nines, especially when you have the toughest credit. Your credit is on point. You might still be able to get a zero zero.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I remember when I bought my Toyota Avalon. I bought that in 2014. That was a car that was so I bought it in 2014. The beginning of 2014 is a 2013 model Toyota Avalon. That was another vehicle. It was because it was brand new, but in the new it was in the next year. I was able to get a vehicle. I think it was like what $7,000 off. I think it was around $8,000 off on a brand new vehicle, only because it was the next year and it was a leftover vehicle. But I think I had got like 0.9% financing on that vehicle, which you know I'm not a fan of financing vehicles, and I definitely feel what she's saying. If you could buy cash, buy cash. However, not everybody's able to buy cash. So if you do finance, just work the deal, get the best interest rate that you can get. If Another thing is, don't necessarily come into the dealership with the idea of financing through the dealership. Come in with a pre-approval. Come in, maybe your credit union could offer you something great. Because I know a lot of dealerships will mark up the interest. I've seen that happen before, where the customer may be approved for like 5%, but you know they're taking a hit somewhere and getting you the car at the price that you wanted at, so they'll jack up the interest rate a little bit. You know, there are
Yeah.
things like that happen. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you do have to finance, I would say definitely shop around for financing before you go to the dealership, but have your ducks in a row. If you do finance, make sure you have your ducks in a row. Otherwise, save up cash. Get a clunker for a little bit. Get your ducks in a row. Get your budget up. And you made a key point there. Have your budget in order and have the money in your budget to buy a car, because that's you definitely don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to buy a car and don't have the budget to buy a car. That would definitely get repoed quick. It's a recipe for repo. You don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm of the school. I think I like everything you're saying. I just, in my personal opinion, I think it's more of a luxury to
Yeah.
finance, right? To be able to take $30,000 and spread it out over 5 years or 7 years or eight
Hmm.
years, right, and pay whatever interest, right? Whether it's a subprime rate, a prime rate, or an inflated rate, like that's a luxury. That's in my opinion, that's a luxury. And then to be able to put you got to put full coverage
Hmm.
on it. They make you. So, those are luxuries. That there's additional cost to new
Yeah.
cars, right? And the money that you save by buying a cash car, you, you can pay to get it repaired.
True. True.
So in my opinion, a cash car, you save up for 3 months. You take that same $500 payment, plus insurance. You take that same $800 over 3 months. You got 2,400
Hmm.
bucks right? You can go to a buy here, pay here, with 2,400 bucks and put that down, or you can go to even not even a buy here, pay here, but just a small cash slot, and talk to somebody, right? And then and finance the difference over the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, work out a cash deal with a decent down payment. So, um, but yeah, I mean, if you go shopping with 5 grand in your pocket, 10 grand in your pocket, you can
Yeah,
get
you can get
something.
something. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep,
But
yep.
I
So,
guess
and
going on
you
the
might.
days of buying a decent car, at least under 5 grand. I think those days are gone. So you think they may be coming back? I mean, I don't know. I think they're going, but
Well, they definitely were gone, but I got to tell you, man, the forecast for America is doom and gloom. Everything I've been hearing is all doom and gloom. Um, so we'll see what
yeah,
happens. We'll see what
yeah. We'll see
happens.
what happens with the economy. I mean, people have been talking about a recession for um, the last 4 or 5 years. Maybe we're in a recession. I don't know. Um, but yeah, we'll see. But there is a correction going on. I definitely know that. Like you said, down in your market, there's definitely a housing correction. which we know, and that does affect people with vehicles, which we know. And you may, see some lots filling up because of that. Used car lots filling up because of that. I definitely know new car lots are definitely filling up. I mean, I remember at one point, like 3, 4 years ago, you passed a dealership and you couldn't see a car there. There was, no cars to be had, and now they're brimming. Obviously there's certain names that aren't, full. Toyota, Honda, they're. I would say that those lots are full again, but not like they used to be, where they had like surplus lots and all that other good stuff. Those. I noticed that when I was car shopping. But there was other brands where there were plenty of cars. There was plenty of choice and opportunity. I also noticed that there were the cars that were manufactured between 2020 and like 2022 were all fully loaded. There was no such thing as a low trim. Well, let me take that back. There was the one car I did see was the one car that I was interested in, shall I say, was a low trim, but there were very few that were lower trim models between those years. And I don't know if that was an opportunity for manufacturers because they had a chip shortage at that time. So they took advantage and say, hey, if you want a car, you got to buy it at a higher trim level and squeeze more money out of you. I don't know, but I noticed that there were a lot of uh, cars between 2020 and 2022 that were only the high trim levels. So that's something to think about. Something to think
Yeah,
about when you buy a car.
it's a good point. It's a
Yeah.
good point.
But
Yeah, I ran into that. I was car shopping looking for a Camry, and it really was the trim levels made such a difference.
yeah,
The V6 model versus and that's why I know what you're talking about when you said you saved on that Avalon. My mind was like, man, you bought the V6 Toyota, you got it for V6 Toyota
hmm,
prices, Camry prices, because they're all built on the same chassis, but you got it for that tier below, because they throw another 10 grand just because of the
right,
Avalon,
right.
right? You get an Avalon, it's another 10 grand on the V6, and the V6 is already 36 now, I think.
Yo, they don't make
So,
Avalons no more. Because that
oh,
was the
okay,
first thing, I went car shopping. That was the first thing I said, oh, let me get another Avalon. And they said, no, we stopped making them.
yeah. I think this year was the first year they're rolling out the
The
crossover.
Crown,
The crossover.
Toyota Crown, and it was
Yeah.
there. That was that was outside of my. Well, again, because I haven't gone car shopping post pandemic, I didn't
Right.
know. Like I said, I've heard stories, but personally, no, I had no clue, no clue whatsoever, man.
Yo, did you see the Crown? The van? Did you see the
No,
Crown van?
I haven't seen
Dude, dude, the Crown van made me want to go get a Toyota van. I can't even lie.
that.
Like the model I saw, it says when I looked it up, it says that it starts at like
Okay,
46 to
okay,
52. But what I saw was the max trim, right? I saw it was black exterior, red leather on the interior. Excuse me, it had two front seats. It had the two captain seats in the middle, and then I had a third seat in the back that went all the way back. It was like one chair that turned into a bed,
interesting.
maybe like that was like a chair and a half
Okay.
wide. And then on the other half, where the rest of that chair would be, where a bench would be, was a toilet with its own door.
Oh man,
I was done. I'm done. Yeah. So so
that's interesting.
so for another 10 grand to get the max trim level for 55, 60 to have a Toyota van that I can travel with a toilet and a bed,
Yeah,
like that's a game
yeah, that is
changer.
a game changer. What are you doing with the doodoo?
This ninja.
Yo, is it like an RV where you could hook up like a slinky to it? What you
It-
doing with the doodoo once you?
it- You just carry it around, man. You just carry it around. There's a eject button like the cruise ships. You can just jettison it. Somebody cut you off, you cut them off, and you drive it
Just drop a deuce on him.
on.
Oh
I'm
man,
sure it is a great thing.
this is
I'm sure it is a great
good.
thing.
That's funny, man. That's funny. But
Yeah.
if we didn't say it, I know a couple of housekeeping things we probably didn't say in the beginning. But please like, share, subscribe. Visit all of our social media platforms. The hotmics.com, where we're all over the place, and tap in, man. We talk about a lot of good things, and you know, comment away, man. Comment away. We're gonna answer our comments.
Very good. Very good.
Anything else you want to
Agreed.
talk about on this this topic?
No, I mean yeah, I think you covered it, man. We covered up buying a used car, and yeah, I think you did good. I think we did good
Yeah,
on that.
and let me tell you, online is a great tool, man. Go online, search up cars, and you could really narrow down what you want. And like I said, have people compete for your business. If you can buy cash, buy cash. If you do have to finance, come already with your pre-approval from it seems like the credit unions are giving the best rates. But yeah, come pre-approved. With an offer, you can really work something out with the with the salespeople, the finance people in the car dealerships, and then knowing what is an acceptable rate is good to good to have, because you don't want to go in there not knowing what your rate should be. I've seen people with great credit get like a 10% interest rate on the card because of ignorance, because they didn't know. Um, yeah, so
Wow. Wow.
if you're schooled and you do your homework, you could win. I was watching something earlier today, Ben Mala, and he was talking about it was actually Little Ben talking about anything you make the money when you buy anything. And that's a concept that just got stuck in my head. When when you're buying a vehicle, you get the best you get the best out of it when you buy it. You know what I mean? So if you do your homework, you get the best rates, you get the best price. Let like you said, let these dealerships compete with one another. If you can wait to the end of the month, wait to the end of the month. Do what you got to do in order to get a car at a great price.
That's right. That's right. Those are all great tips. I I approve this message.
Well, I'm not running for office, although there seems to be a vacancy, but well, that I don't want. But
Oh. Is that is that what I hear? Was that you officially throwing your hat in the ring?
yeah, let me shut up. I'm gonna say it anyway. Forget it, man. But yeah, with the janky job the Secret Service is doing, I don't want that job. But on that note,
there's a guy with a rifle on the roof. No, he's with
right.
us. He's with us. Oh, other team. He wasn't with us.
Oh man, but yeah.
Think about that though. We had in our lifetimes. Did you ever think you would see a presidential assassination attempt?
Nah. Well, I mean, this is the second one actually. We had Reagan back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, I was too young. I didn't even, people have to tell me about it. It wasn't like I
learned about
remember.
that in history books, right?
Yeah, that happened like '82. We wasn't even in preschool, right? So yeah. So and then a week later, I don't know what's going on with these computers. Planes grounded, right? They're telling us it's Microsoft, but things that make you go,
hold that thought. We're gonna talk about that on another show.
All right. We got a hot mic. Look, we got a hot mic.
Let's wrap this up and go into something a little different, man. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll get with you guys later.
Deuces.